they just get to
Yeah, let's
watch
do
us
it.
prep. All right, Jeff. So
No, it's fine. We'll just go live.
I'm overshadowing you, Jeff, to see the size so that we're the same size. But
Oh, are we?
I'm doing that by like stepping in front of you, which I kind of like. I think it's kind of funny.
Oh, it's fine by me,
All
man. You
right.
do whatever you got to do.
All right. Well, we're not going to do any bells and whistles, but we're at least both here, Jeff, which is different
That's right.
than earlier. This is
Different. Yeah, Dre. Yeah, this is what happens with streaming is sometimes two people are on.
so welcome to I Must Break You end of month. This is where Dre pushes Jeff into QVC selling, even though Jeff at least 10, 20 times a month is like, I hate QVC selling, even though you, Jeff, are an amazing QVC seller.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it's not that I hate it. I just find it, I never minded doing it when it was like when I was working for the statue company and that was all I did was basically they'd be like, let's do a fake thing where you're actually trying to sell some shit. And I was like, hell yeah. It's just I personally feel weird
there is
pimping
something
myself out.
so ironic about that, where content creators like you, if I'm like
Hmm.
Jeff, advertise for
Yeah.
something. In fact, you even brought this up. It'll probably be on an UG Fine and was on a previous one. UG Fine is one of the many podcasts Jeff May does. You can find that at patreon.com. Jeff May, look in the bottom. We have it's not a link, but it is you can copy it. So it's worse than a link in every sense of the word, but at least you know where it is.
Worse than
So
a
you won't
link, yeah.
forget it. Call that number on the bottom of your screen now. Operators are standing by. Um, but you were talking about a gym you were at, and you have like all these great ideas for the gym, and I was like, Jeff, that is fantastic. You are incredibly creative and thoughtful. It's like, I want you to do that for you. And so it's really funny with creators. It's like, sell somebody else's stuff. Do an ad for
It's
mattresses,
yeah,
and they're like done. I'll be hilarious. You're like, do an advertisement for
I
yourself, and they're like, I
I
can't.
think I actually blame my parents' generation for really pushing the humility aspect of it and not predicting that we were going to have to just debase ourselves on all aspects of social media at all points in time in order to have any form of a career. But here I am. Yeah, I have patreon.com/Jeff May. I do lots of great podcasts. We do, video work, streams and stuff. But one of the things that we do every month that I really love is the rookie card tier where we show up. We do the breaks. Now we've done, and I think we did the math. Normally we do anywhere from four breaks, but between I Must Drake You
Love it.
being added into the Monday night aspect of it. Now, obviously, those cards are not those aren't going to be rookie card cards because you're in Wisconsin and I'm in
We
California, so
may
that would
at
be a
some point
very
figure it out,
difficult
but
process.
here's the basic thing. Jeff's got Patreon tiers where he sends you cards, packages in the mail. It at this moment we don't have a pipeline. It would be prohibitively expensive because it's a great deal. I'm not just QVCing. It is a fantastic deal. $35 a month. You're really helping you buy supplies for great content, but then you benefit from that. And you're early enough in the process that if you break something really cool, you don't have to do what other
Mhm.
streams do right now, which is like auction it off or, only certain people get it. You're basically like, if you pick up a nice box of cards, you're small enough that
Mhm.
like everybody who supports you right now can get one of those cool cards.
Yes, so like yeah, so it's one of those things too where so like when I have people sign up for that tier, but by the way, the reason we're doing this is because today it is February 29th. It's the last day to get in on February. With all the breaks that we did, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak preview of the amount of stuff that I have here. Ready? So if I'm coming down here and you take a look at all of that, that's all just from this month.
Can I ask you a question, Jeff?
So if
In terms of
yeah,
things you bought for yourself, what was, so we're going to leave bowling off the table. That's going to be its own thing in a bit. Wisconsin
yeah.
accent there for bowling. What was the favorite thing you broke this month?
The favorite thing are you saying the favorite product that I broke or my favorite break? Because
Oh,
that's two different
dealers,
questions.
let's do both then. Do both.
My favorite break was the Topps Finest, the Star Wars Topps Finest, because the two autographs that I pulled were my buddy Bobby Moynihan, who we are social media friends, and on top of that, of course, the Fiona Shaw autograph that I specifically said in the video that I was looking for, which is an astronomically insane odds of having happened. So that to me was pretty nuts.
Oh, and
Um,
this is funny. So, by the way, as an FYI, Jeff and I discovered while we were putting this together that Zoom is a real jerk. Zoom is like, I am the only one that is allowed to see your camera. So if I want to
yeah.
use my camera for YouTube, Jeff is not allowed to see me on Zoom. Vice versa, if I let Jeff see me on Zoom, Zoom's like no one else can see you but me. So Jeff forced me on camera. That's Jeff's call. So apologies, the quality of the thing has dropped. I am showing off a Enemies of the Empire Star Wars Topps card you sent me as part of the
Mhm.
rookie card tier because Jeff, I'm not just someone that advertises the Jeff May rookie card tier at a very affordable price, patreon.com/Jeff May. I am also a member and I love it. And I'm showing off one of the cards you sent me, which is this Luke Skywalker one, which is amazing. I'm curious, do you have, and like, you're obviously keeping the Fiona shop for yourself, but as an example, previous months, because you've done Topps Finest before, what's the type of stuff you send out from the Topps Finest?
So it all depends on like I try to go for if people have specific requests. So like here's the thing is whenever people sign up for the tier, I have them tell me on their sports side and their non-sports side, I was like, what do you like? And so for example, I have a couple people, I have two people that are like, I love the Seattle Mariners, right? I love the Seattle Mariners. I grew up watching the Seattle Mariners. I opened up 2024 Tops season series one. They came out this month, and I pulled two of these Ken Griffey Jr. Insert set cards, right? Two different Ken Griffey Juniors. I know who these are going to. Like I already know that these are set aside. So these are inserts. So I'll always send inserts if I can, refractors, and also requests. I have people, really great people. I know he's always interactive on this Walker Morgan. Usually after a break, he will send me a message being like, these are the cards I want ranked in this order. And I will be like, all right, well, let's see what I can do about finding those and fitting them in there.
And let's take a brief
So for
break
example,
to thank some people in the chat as you're talking about people that go stuff in.
oh,
Steven Simon said woo cards, they'll be in and out. And Mindfreak555 said hello. Mindfreak555, I recognize you from the old school Patreon producer days when I put those together. Jeff used to just say people's names. Now you send them in the mail. Who knows what's going to happen in the future, Jeff? Like automatic drones or
yeah,
something? Who knows? And you didn't
yeah.
see this,
So
Jeff, when we were talking about things you like. I was holding up all the rogues you've sent me. And I'm going to say this to Jeff. Jeff is a nice person where he inadvertently sent me the same rogue card twice. And is like, I'm really sorry about that. I already sent it to you once. I can't see you right now, Jeff. I'm not sure if Instagram stole your thing, but I'll just keep talking. I'll show the rogues. So like Jeff
oh,
has
you
sent,
can't see me. Did I bail
yeah,
out? I
yeah,
bailed out.
that's
Okay,
Zoom
here
being
I
a
am.
jerk.
Is this
So
better?
I've got this rogue
Am I back
card that
now?
Jeff sent me. Jeff is back. He sent this to me
Yeah.
twice.
All right.
Jeff's
Good.
like, I apologize for that. Sorry about the QA at patreon.com/Jeff May. And I'm like, no, Jeff, you can send me as many of the same cards. In fact, you did that as a lark. Another fun card. I've told you I'm a Dikembe Mutombo fan. You have sent me like 7 Dikembe Mutombos, and please,
Yes.
please never stop.
Those were from Adam Todd Brown from Adam Todd Brown doing his breaks. So like yeah, I try very much to be very specific to make sure that I don't repeat cards, obviously, especially if somebody's getting, anywhere from, it's usually something like anywhere from 14 to 16 cards a month that are, in top loaders and penny sleeves. Um, this month it's probably going to be a little bit higher than that. So like I will take requests. I know what some people like. If somebody's like, I really like the Mandalorian, if I pull a Mandalorian card, a Din Djarin or whatever, like I'll be like, okay, this person specifically said they like the Mandalorian. So if nobody claims the card outright, it's going to this person, right? So for example, like
Oh, and
I
let's
have a
throw that
stack
out.
of
Sorry to break you off. Let's
okay.
throw that out. That's
No,
another
that's
thing.
great.
Jeff does these breaks. You've been pretty consistent at Wednesday at about 2 p.m. your time, so Jeff's specific time. I'll throw this out. Consistency tends to help a lot when people know ahead of time.
Yep.
That's been gaining about 10 or 20. When we do these impromptu things like we're at about 5 right now, so we get double to triple the followers, and we're looking to grow. But I'll say when you do these live shows, I've been a real jerk this month, Jeff, because you've been pulling some cool stuff, and I'm like, gummy bears, gotta have that. Grogu, gotta have that. If you are in the chat, we're not at the point. I was just watching John Jabs, The Past Is Alive, a bigger channel that we've loved on Your
Yep.
Jeff has cool friends, patreon.com/Jeff Man. I keep saying that, Jeff. I'm going to keep selling. But what I was going to say is he's big enough where he does breaks where he's like, he'll break an expensive box or something in the chat. He'll be like, anybody wants this card? I'm going to, give you 30 seconds. People bid. Jeff bid $69. I know
Oh,
it's a
so yeah,
joke, Jeff, on a Mickey Mantle card. Went
I
for 125.
I didn't
I'm
bid.
aware it wasn't a bid,
I
but you just did
actually
it in the
I
time.
just wrote 16. I just wrote 69 question mark. Nice. I wasn't bidding. I was just mentioning that it was
He did a
1969.
bid. It was a
Um,
1969 card. Jeff made that comment such that it looked like a bid. But the point being, he'll actually bid out cards. Jeff, we're big enough at this
yep.
point where it's not a bid out. It's you're breaking a pack of cards unless it's something super special, a relic or something that wouldn't be fair. If you're in the chat and you're someone that gets one of the rookie card tiers and you're just like, I want that, basically you've got a really good chance of
Yeah.
getting it.
Well, like basically the way it comes down to is as long as you message me, because here's the thing is my brain is a sieve and it leaks out a lot of stuff. So I do need like that documentation because if somebody's watching, Dre, if you're watching and you're like, oh, I want that card, I'm gonna forget it until you send me the message. I definitely tell people to be very sure about that because I forget where my keys are all the time. So anyway, people can do claims on stuff if they are members of the rookie card tier. Um, but on top of that too, like I know what people like. I did a 2024 Topps jumbo hobby break, right? And I've opened some 2024 Topps. Not sure how many more I'm going to open just because, it's not cheap at this point in time. Right here, I have a stack of cards. I have two Ken Griffey
Oh,
Juniors.
hold them
I
up to
have
the
this
camera.
Ronald
Hold them up a
Acuna.
little closer, sir. Those are awesome.
So I have like a Ronald Acuna right here. I have Luis Robert at 89 top style. I have a Luis Robert gold parallel. I have Salvador Perez for the Royals because I have a Royals guy. I have a Cardinals guy. I have a couple Dodgers
Hey
people, so I
Jeff, I
got
got
the
to
Mookie
correct you.
Betts
The
here.
Royals actually moved to Sacramento, and they're actually the Kings now. We're
Great,
talking
great,
back.
good, good,
No,
good.
no, you're not going to
This is
let the
good. That was
basketball joke go.
definitely
No,
that was definitely a
the
solid,
40-year-old
solid use of an
basketball joke
interruption.
pun. No, Jeff's not having any of
But
it. What
even
else we got?
no, no, I'm like we have. I'm playing show and tell. So like for the silver packs, right? There were silver packs where you could pull you could only get these out of the boxes right here. I have a Padres guy, so I have the silver pack Manny Machado there, a Frank Thomas silver pack card, right? So these are only these are kind of more on the rare side in Chipper Jones for the Braves, right? So like all of my people, I have the springtime variants that you can get out of blasters of Seth Lugo and Dansby Swanson from the Cubs. So I know I have people that love certain teams, so I put stuff aside, as well as if I know somebody like really loves Darth Vader, like there are people that are just like Star Wars, specifically Darth Vader. Usually, if that's the case, I Darth Vader it out and say, whatever they need,
Hey Jeff, can I
I'll
ask a
make sure.
question about March? Can I put in a listener request? You've talked about this, and I want to maybe get it on air, get you locked in. Any chance you're going to do a hockey break in March?
Um, a hockey break, maybe. The problem with hockey is so with Jeff has cool friend, or excuse me, with I Must Break You, it tends to be mostly non-sports. I did sports this month primarily because I had John Jabs on, he breaks sports cards, and I did do some hockey and some more alternative sports. I try to mostly only do sports with Adam Todd Brown on the You Don't Even Like Sports YouTube account, and we have a couple more going. But if we don't open hockey on there, I will make it a point to open hockey there. And I did open some hockey this month. I opened a 2024 Upper Deck set.
I actually need to
So,
catch
like in
up
that
on that,
regard,
Jeff. I'll
sure.
throw this out. During the John Jabs week, you did 4 consecutive breaks. Absolutely absurd. Amazing
Yes.
stuff. And I actually need to go back. What I try and do after you're done is I'll put in links. I'll go to like Cardboard Connection is a really good site for modern sets. Cardboardconnection.com, if you're a card trader, is great because it'll tell you about the set as itself. It'll give you updates. Here's how frequent the parallels are when Jeff is doing the breaks and I'm being the man in the van. Again, tune in on Wednesdays at Hey There Jeffro, where you're at right now. Come back on Wednesdays. Jeff does at least a break a week.
Yeah.
And when Jeff does that, and Jeff's like, I don't know how common this is, and I'm saying stuff from the band, I'm using Cardboard Connection, and that's for modern sets that'll do it.
Yeah.
So absolutely fun stuff to do. I try and go in and add notes after the fact. You did so many breaks, Jeff, and then I think on Friday you did like 10 sets, which is just a lot of extra links to add. But typically, you can either watch live on Wednesday. If not, you can go to Jeff's Patreon, or not your Patreon, it's free, YouTube. You can go to Jeff's
Just my
YouTube
YouTube. Yeah.
channel, and all of the videos are there. They're under the I Must Break You playlist. We do have one of those. And usually after the fact, I'll go in and add timestamps if you don't want to wait through the whole thing, but you got to watch the whole thing. They're amazing. And I'll also add notes so you know about the sets, because I'm a nerd, Jeff. I love looking up sets and being like, oh, that red parallel card that Jeff got in the middle of the thing, that's a 1 in 4 chance. You had one where you got like two 1 in 50s in like a blaster box. I'm like, that's 1 in 2,500. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah. So, like, for example, I know we did one where it was just like a bunch of generic 80s crap that I have here, right? So I have like Roger Rabbit cards. Like, nobody knew that Roger Rabbit cards probably were even a thing at this point. I got, oh, here's a little Shop of Horror sticker. I've got Batman right here. I have, cartoon Ninja Turtles right there.
I forget when I
I've,
was I not there, Jeff.
I pulled
I
Dallas.
when I sent you a bunch of old vintage Star Wars cards. You did you break those on one? I can't remember if I wasn't around for those.
I think so. Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
gonna say I sent you a ton, and I don't want to give your stuff away, but I'll say I sent Jeff a bunch of vintage '70s Star Wars and Superman cards. If he broke that, I basically told Jeff I sent him so many I didn't know if you wanted them all for the PC. So you're free to give those out too, but it's Jeff's prerogative.
Yeah. Dark Crystal. We opened a lot of Dark Crystal cards. Interesting cuts. They're like rounded corners, and they all have like these little cardboard divots on them. We pulled some difficult Dinosaurs Attacks cards. We pulled Alien. Just a lot of really fun stuff. Here's more. But aside from that, so they're like, I'll open big boxes of stuff, and then I'll just open like specific packs. I'll open Elf trading cards, and what people like, I will hook them up. We did an '80s day, we did a '90s day, and so I have a few thousand cards to go through, and I will parse out all the cards that will be sent out to people on the Patreon that receive those tiers,
And
and
shout
so
out to the
that's really
Patreon,
fun.
by the way, one of your followers. Let the monsters in. It's Ryan Tremblay, but does
Oh
do
yeah, right.
hilarious names. And I will say, recognizing the old school Patreon producers days, one of the people that changed it up to creative stuff. So Ryan, what is up? Sorry we're a little late on that, but we're going over so many
I
cards, so
Well,
many
Dre,
cards,
I
Jeff.
think you might be. I think you might be a little bit off on Ryan being a member of the Patreon. Ryan's actually a friend of mine from high school, middle school,
I am
actually.
fairly certain. Am I not wrong? Either you or Gamefully, Ryan has been a producer on a show on a
Hey
network
Dre,
you're
hey
associated with. I promise you.
Dre,
You're right that you know him
Dre,
first,
I'm
but
going. Hey Dre,
yeah.
I'm right.
I'm not
You don't
saying
want
you're
to
not
correct me
wrong
on
on
this
being
one.
friends, but I am saying producer as well. Right,
Dre,
Ryan? I know
you're
you've been a producer on at least this or Gamefully.
Dre.
Yeah?
I'm right.
You sure?
He's not,
Ryan's
and
never
that's
been a
totally
producer
okay.
here at Gamefully ever? You sure?
Oh
Ryan,
yeah,
in the chat, let
really.
us know. Have you ever produced this or
You can ask
Gamefully?
him why.
Ryan,
Dre, why are you arguing
even
with
if
me on this one?
even if Jeff is right, say he's wrong, Ryan. Help me out, Ryan, in the chat.
You're not going to get, that's not going to help you out. I know absolutely. He is very, very supportive. He shares my stuff on Facebook. He's super, super great. He watches the breaks. He's just a super good dude. He does great cryptid work. Just a really nice guy, but he's not a member of the Patreon. He could be if he wants to, but he absolutely does not have to.
Ryan
He is
says you are
more than
absolutely
supportive.
wrong, Jeff. Do not check the chat though. Just don't check the
Sure.
chat. Chat's acting wonky. Someone's hacked Ryan's account. Don't look, Jeff.
Yeah, I was like, Trey, why are you arguing with me on this one? I do not
I
understand why
like
you are
arguing,
fighting this.
Jeff. Anyway,
It was a very insane thing. Well, regardless, what it comes down to is we have a lot of stuff here. I have a ton of cards to go through, a ton of cards to give away. I'd like to give away as many as possible because then what'll happen is I'll put them in like different piles of like, if I don't give them away, I don't want to personally collect them, which I only do PC. I only PC very rare cards. If I have something from my PC, but somebody wants it, they'll get it. Like that's just my job is to do that. So if I was like, "Ooh, I pulled this Beverly Crusher card, but somebody really wanted it," I'd be like, "But you can have it." Like obviously. But so beyond that, so then I decide I parse it out into like, okay, I either give it away to people on my Patreon, or I will, keep it for myself for my PC, or I might be like, all right, well, maybe Adam and I will get a table someday and I can sell this and recoup some of the expense
Can I
because
sell
this is
this?
an
Can I
expensive.
can I shout this out? Out here, Appleton, Wisconsin,
If you,
we have a card show that is going at least bi-monthly at the Fox Cities Stadium, the neuroscience field where the Timber Rattlers play. Table's apparently $50, and I know the guy who does it enough. I could probably get you another five off. So if you ever want to come through
oh,
Appleton, Wisconsin to sell a bunch of cards, Jeff, I got the hookup.
I I'm good uh, for several reasons here, but and then the other part, the finished part of that, where I was going with that is like once I've gone through all the giveaway stuff to my patrons, all the personal collection stuff, and all the stuff that I would sell, then I'll usually just kind of I might bring them to Blast from the Past and say, do you guys want these? Maybe they'll give me credit if they want them for free. They can have them. I'll go to my local Buy Nothing Facebook group and say, hey, I have these cards left over. If you're a serious collector, go away. But if you have a kid and you want to start collecting baseball cards with them, come over here and pick them up, or whatever. So what I try to do is minimalize how many cards I have in my possession at all times. So the more people I get on that Patreon tier, and I think because in shipping is usually anywhere from $5 to $7. So the minimal tier in that regard is $35, right? So we'll say I make $30 per package. I'm mailing out anywhere from 14 to 16 cards usually a month. This month it's probably going to be closer to 20, I'm guessing. I also got my new shipping envelopes that are a little bit bigger than the ones people have been getting. Shout out to Doc Garby for the Mike Mignola style. Jeff has cool
I
friends
have a sticker of that
that
you
I've
can
been.
kind of see behind me on one of the. I've your
Yeah.
stickers you've given out too are really nice. They fit well
Yep.
on the side of binders for like card collecting.
Every package usually gets on top of the cards. There's a handwritten note of some kind, postcard, or I think I did Valentine's this month.
You did a
So
Job of the
everybody
Hut
got a
Valent.
Valentine.
Actually, let me see, Jeff. You keep
Yeah,
talking.
Star Wars Valentine's. I sent like 25-year-old Star Wars Valentines out this month that I had found and was like, that'll be good. So that's how I wrote stuff out. And I also put like some kind of merch, a sticker, a button,
And
whatever,
here,
which I
what it
do
is
have.
making me
And those
laugh
will
so
come.
much. Jeff cannot see me, so I am holding up. He sent me. It says, "You're the best, and you're mine." Job of the Hut. That's kind of creepy, although it's the CGI one from the first one. It looks like. And then you
Yeah,
also
because
sent the
it was.
skin on cards, the mint on card sticker. You sent me one of those as well. Where they were supposed.
Oh
What was
yeah,
this
we call
supposed to
them the.
look like originally? You were saying.
They were originally supposed to look like a graffiti stamp kind of a thing, like a rubber stamp. And the way it came out and the background color, they just came out looking like skin. So we call them the skin stickers. And we give those out at Mint on Card. But what I'm doing is I try to make it so that everybody gets something out of it, personal correspondence. So like not only am I just putting cards in packages, I'm also handwriting a letter, basically to each person, as well as trying to do that. So I try to make it as personalized as possible. And the reason we're even talking about this too is because you have one day to get in on the February break. And I told people about December. December was a really good break. They got signed mint on card flyers that came in.
Oh, I
People
wasn't
really
going to
liked
show
those.
that just in case you didn't give that to everybody. But yep, Jeff.
Yeah, everybody
And there's
got
some
one.
cool
Everybody
names.
got
If you're a fan of the Jeff, this is front and back. That is freaking awesome. I didn't realize there were signatures on the
Oh,
back
there's
as well.
two. So no,
Oh, so
yeah,
they're
everybody
two
got
different
two flyers.
flyers. Oh,
Those are
holy
two
cow!
different
What?
shows. And I tried to tail them to like I know like one guy was a big Tom and Jeff Watch Batman fan, so I gave him one of the ones that one of the shows Tom Ryman did. So they got not just something from me, but
I think
something
you're
that was
talking
signed
someone
by
else too,
Tom Ryman.
because I'm a big Tom Ryman fan, and boom, Tom Ryman.
Did you get? Yeah. Oh, so you got that, and I can't see you right now, but is that the football one?
So this one, yeah, has the 1999. It says 1999 football 2000. It's a little pixelated, so I can't read who the player is specifically.
Starting
Looks like a
lineups.
Jet.
I'm guessing I
Let's
think
see
it's
if you can
Curtis
name them
Martin.
all.
It's definitely a Jet. But that was because it was September, and so I picked the New York Jet. This I always theme the flyers for the month, and so a New York Jet for
And so
September.
January 10th was a Fantastic
LOL.
Four episode as seen on Marvel
That
Action
was
Channel.
our fourth anniversary show.
Oh, okay.
So like the January shows are always the numbered ones. So that one was a fourth anniversary. So that would have been 2020, January of 2020.
Sounds right.
Um, yeah, and so that and they're signed by everyone. It's just one of those things I like to do. So this month is going to be very card heavy. Um, People are going to get a lot of stuff. I know I have a month coming up. I always pick a month where I'm going to do like relics or like autographs. So like everybody will get a relic or an autograph or something along those lines, something very unique. Or like I've done one month where everybody got a numbered card. So, like, aside from the regular stuff, one of the cards they were going to get was a numbered card, much more limited, obviously. And that's just, I'll sit on those things, I'll save them. So, like, I save numbered cards so that I can give them away once I've amassed enough to give away to people in the Patreon. But yeah, so that was just one of the things we wanted to do. It was funny. I have these, I have tons of stuff. I have like weird, I know with like Goodwin Champions, we pulled like the bird patches. I remember when I opened it with Adam, he pulled a black cap chickadee, which is the state bird of Massachusetts.
And Ryan, one of your
Um,
most ardent Patreon subscribers, Jeff, says you should pull more Wendigo cards.
Yeah, that's right. I still have to I have to mail him. I pulled a Wendigo and I told him I would mail it out to him. So I will make sure I go find that and send that out to him. Like little map things. Like I've got a lot of weird stuff. I got a lot of weird shit to give away. And it's just really, really fun. Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, of course, does a cryptid podcast as well. So it's fitting that he would want Wendigo for obvious reasons.
So, Jeff,
Now,
let me give you another form of support that has happened and may happen in the future.
yeah.
Is you're more than open to people sending you stuff to break. Now, there's two ways, right? It can be a gift.
Oh yeah.
Someone can just send you that. I think I'm the first person to do this with you. Actually, no, I'm the second. I think, who did the Disney Lorcana cards? Someone sent you those to break and then you sent them to him.
That was Isaac, my friend Isaac Hartside.
Isaac, yeah. So we've actually had a couple times on the show where someone has said, we'll send the cards to you. Jeff, let me get you off on the hobby tangent. Have you seen the Hufflepuff happening? There's a card breaker, so you can send people cards that they break, and there are people that accuse. They basically say, "I paid you to break some cards for me," and then the person claims that the other person stole them. They broke a rare card, and then we wind up down this weird path of, I pay Jeff to break my cards. Jeff breaks an amazing card worth $1,000. Jeff says, "I'm not going to give you the card. I'll give you $100." I say Jeff stole from me, and then Jeff says, "Hey, you didn't pay." This is actually some nonsense happening on right now, and the reason I bring that up is Jeff is not like those people. Jeff's not going to do drama.
Oh
You
God,
send
no.
Jeff stuff to break, he'll break it, he'll make it entertaining, and if you want it sent back, which we're going to get to in a few minutes, Jeff will send it back.
Yes, I would. I would add some caveats to that. Like, for example, Isaac lives in LA and we are friends. So he just came and got the cards. If you send me a huge jumbo box and want me to send it all back,
You have
that
to pay
shipping
for it, right?
alone is
Yeah,
going to be
I
a
would
little,
make the assumption
yeah,
where you
that
would say,
um but yes. So for example, Dre, you sent me and the interior of these boxes is really fascinating. But Dre, you did send me these PBA cards that are yours that we opened, and so I have separated them into your base cards are in one box. So these are all just a simple base, and I organized them for you um, to make it even easier for your numbers. And then the other box I have, God, these boxes, when you try to put them back together, they are
Ryan
trash.
says, "You've always been
Um,
an honest dude, Jeff." So that is what we know about Jeff. Chopped down a cherry
yeah,
tree,
no,
didn't tell a lie, all that fun stuff.
yeah. And so this other box that I have here is the what we refer to as, the premiums. And come on up there, you stupid.
So
There's like
here's what
there's
I wanted to throw
every
out.
card is had.
Here's what I wanted to throw out, Jeff. We're in an interesting spot. We were gonna have a fun game. We're still kind of decide because it's the variant of fuck Mary Kill is what I know it as. Got me cussing, but you got to say the name right. So there's that game, right? And we had a fun scenario where it's basically like we have three things you can do with those cards. Simplest, by the way, might be that you send most, if not all of them, back to me. But we're going to say, hey, we're going to put some up for grabs. So if you're watching this, you catch this in enough time, and you want any of these cards, that we say, because obviously I'm not giving away one of the cooler cards. So we're going to
You're
have,
not giving away your James Harden
yeah. Well,
autograph.
there's a few things we can do. We can have you send some of them in for grading, and I think I do want that to happen. You can just send them back, and I'm going to
Yeah.
get them for the collection, and then we might give a couple away. And I actually, when I was like, I actually did review all these cards before the show, and I was like, well, I can certainly do the bowlers that have one title to their name and are 40, so they're probably not going to ever be anything. But there are a couple cool base cards in there that I think would be fun to give away. That would be fun if people want them, and then if not, you can send back. But what we were going to go through this list of bowling cards. It's a short list. It was only 16. That's one of the fun things about Leaf. I think they used to be a bigger name card company back in the day that was more traditional, and they seem to have gone the more collectible route. So they'll send out boxes of
They do a
four.
lot with autographs and
They'll
stuff
send
like
out a
that.
box of 4 or 5 cards, and it'll be like
Yeah.
a chrome card
So
with a Hulk Hogan autograph or something. So
yes.
the two
So
boxes we
now,
sent you only had 16 cards.
so Dre, then I think when you're talking about like going through these and taking that when you have like the number of cards that you have or whatever, the easiest way to do that is yeah, these boxes, they're not made to be reopened. The easiest way to do is so like we have this game that we're gonna play, right? And
So it's slab. I'm
so
going to leave it with Jeff, and when Jeff does a PSA grading, because Jeff's a big shot, has a PSA account. Typically, if you want to get the best deals for PSA for grading, you need to send in a minimum shipment. Usually it's around 20, and you can wait. Like PSA at some point will be like, hey, we're doing a deal on whatever cards. You can send them in for 12. I think you've said 12 tends to be the lowest. Like if
I think that the lowest I've seen has been like
So
12.99.
they'll
Yeah.
say like, yeah, we're doing a
I,
sale for $13 grading, send a bunch of cards. Sometimes they're themed, sometimes it's just for the month. So basically, it'll be fun. I love PSA reveals. So at some point, Jeff might send these in for grading when they come back, reveal on the show, and then send back to me. Some you might just send for me for my collection, and others, if you really want them, you can have them. And let's go through really quick, and I'll explain my reasoning. And I'll try and be really pithy, like 1 or 2 sentences, unless it's a more important card.
so like so basically the idea is sell or excuse me
Slab.
slab, which I mean that's only specifically for you
This is
because the
for us
reality
game.
of
In a
the game
future
would
game,
be
we
more
might do like sell, keep, giveaway or something.
yeah because it is yeah sell keep or mail out. For you it's going to be slab uh slab or send I guess, right?
Slab, send, giveaway. Or up, and I'll
Yeah,
say in this
slab
case, up
send.
for grabs, because if no one wants the cards, I'll just take them. But if they're, if we can get a
Yeah.
couple bowling fans, Jeff, that'd be fun.
So what I have here, we'll start with Anthony Simonson base.
So what I'm going to say is he is an amazing bowler. He is the youngest bowler to 5 majors. He is one of the top. He did not fail to get in the top 10 in any of the tournaments. I'm going to say if anybody wants that, tell Jeff in the comments, DMs, Twitter, somewhere. That is up for grabs because he is an amazing bowler. That is a fun base card, and I'm going to hope that I get an auto or something of
The
his.
auto
So
or
he's
something
up
like
for
that.
grabs
Yeah.
because that's a good card. That's a cool card.
Okay, so we'll put that in the mail
Yeah.
pile for now. And so real quick too, we can shorten that up, I'm sure. We have Bella Love Castillo card. She is 14 years old from Texas,
It
so
sounds really.
she's got a lot of potential
This
here.
sounds weird. I may put that in the slab for silly reasons.
Lab. No,
Namely
I
that
get it.
there's potential. She's young, so if she becomes something,
Yep,
that'd be cool. Okay.
I get it. Chris Barnes.
Chris Barnes, that's another giveaway. Same reason. Amazing bowler. Bowled to 300 on TV, Jeff. One of less than 40 people to do that. Amazing bowler.
Nice.
For bowling fans, want that up for grabs.
Getting a lot of information about bowling in
Yeah.
these cards. Norm Duke base.
Norm Duke, another amazing bowler. First guy to win 3 majors consecutively. One of the greatest all time. We have an auto coming up that I'm going to keep, so I'm going to put that in the giveaway. Again, another good card. We actually want good cards for people to get, not just the
So
bowlers no one's heard of.
so in the world of simplicity here, I'm gonna now ask for 1 or 2 word replies
One or
for the
two.
next couple of cards for the bases. You can just
You
pick
started
pick
you
your
started with
choice.
the good bowlers, Jeff. You got to get the information on it. But the other ones will go
Yeah,
quicker.
but you like to talk, and I do like that. But we'll be here until 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do that. We have Ryan Simonelli.
I'm going to keep, and sorry, Jeff, I'm going to immediately break the rules. I was mean to him when we came through. He's
God
actually won
damn
a
it.
major. I just was not aware of him. Ryan, I'm really sorry when Jeff broke you on the air. I was not kind. An amazing bowler, deserves more respect. Going to keep the card though.
Tim Mack.
Keep. Need it for the collection.
Keep. All right. We have Thomas Keiko.
Keep. Same reason. Need it for the connection. If you want that card, you can
Okay.
ask Jeff, but I'm keeping it. I need it for the full set.
We have a Smallwood 6 of 7.
I'm keeping the numbered one. I think we have an unnumbered, but I can keep going.
Okay. Francois Lavoie, numbered of 25.
Got to keep that one, yeah. And he's a good bowler.
Okay. Now we have an AJ Chapman auto.
AJ Chapman auto. I'm going to keep the autos, yeah.
Matt, the next are all autos. Matt Ogle.
Matt Ogle. Yeah, I was going to. If someone really wants it, you can put it in the up for grabs, but I'll keep it.
I have a feeling that is it safe for me to assume that every one of these cards is going to be in the keep because it is the auto and it is why you bought the card?
Yeah, I'll keep the autos.
So in the keep pile,
but
we'll do that. We're going to put Stuart Williams in the keep pile as well.
One more apologies on Stuart Williams. He is actually an amazing podcaster. His nickname is Beef. He is on the Beef and Barn show. Love him. Keep going, Jeff.
Don't worry, he is not watching. Norm Duke auto is going back to Dre. This was a big pull for him. The Matthew Russo autograph is going back to Dre because, again, this is why Dre bought those cards. We have an of 10 Dick Allen auto.
Yeah, just send back.
Which again, going back. Yeah, I know.
we do have a couple slabs, so that's the thing.
We have two. We have one slab so far, and that's Bella Love Castillo. And then finally, the big surprise of the entire break there was the James Harden auto.
Of eight, which is cool because there's an of 10 of that, and there's an of 8.
Numbered of 8. And this one, Dre said, you already told me you wanted this one.
I want to slab. And so actually, the numbered Smallwood, if you can slab as well.
The numbered Smallwood. Okay.
And because I've told you this before, there was actually a short-lived sitcom starring Pete Holmes about him that blows my mind, Jeff, because it's just such a... There's going to be a tangent on that show at some... You should not see it, but there will be a tangent on that show on a future podcast with us. I guarantee it. All right.
Funny story, though, we did mention that I pulled his PBA card, I believe, last Wednesday. And then that Saturday, I was... celebrating Topps Hobby Night in Santa Monica with some friends of mine from Topps. And they were like, hey, we got somebody showing up at 6:30, stick around. And who walked in at 6:30 but James Harden. So I not only pulled his autographed numbered bowling card on Wednesday, but I also was, next to him. and like, I've never thought 3 thoughts of James Harden. And,
he's like as tall as you, right? It's so funny because he's a guard and you think shorter.
He's a little bit.
He's like tall, like he's 6'3", 6'4", right?
Yeah. He's a big guy. He's not small.
Which is so because you watch basketball and you see like the guards dribbling around. You're like, oh, look at that tiny guy, and you run into him in person, and you're like, oh, there's this bulk, this buff giant that could probably throw me.
When you're surrounded by people that are 6'8", it makes it a lot harder. So,
do you want to hold up the 3? So it would be Simonson, Barnes, and Duke. If there are any bowling fans, I would say those are 3 cool base cards. If you happen to be a patreon.com/Jeff May, any of the rookie card tiers, and happen to be a bowling fan, those are 3 all-time greats, Jeff. So up for grabs.
Tell Jeff
you want them. And if not, you can just send them all back to me, and I need them for the PC.
Yeah, there it is. We have that going on. And so that is just one of those things. We wanted to play that game, and we wanted to implement that game maybe in the future down the line. I have a ton of cards, a lot of Star Wars, a lot of pop culture, and a lot of fun sports, a lot of baseball because, the season's in the swing and baseball cards tend to be a lot more prevalent. The Goodwin champions. I will say this. You're always going to get more money's worth of cards than you definitely paid. I'm not saying that, selling on eBay would, make me more money. It might take forever for that to happen and everything like that.
Well, I brought that up. The reality of it is like if you go to I use like tcdb.com to just keep track of my cards, fun site, and it'll be like you've got a 15-cent card, and I'm like, okay, that 15-cent card would cost me at minimum $10 in my own time labor to sell. So I'm like, if I want to pay myself 15 cents an hour, it's worth 15 cents. Otherwise, it's not worth anything.
Yeah. But it's just one of those things, and this isn't necessarily a tier that is pulling me in a lot of money, but it is a tier that I like doing because I like building it. I like the community aspect of it. I like people knowing that while I'm putting that together, that they know that I was thinking of them the whole time.
And we've also
Like
got
that is
all
important to
we've
me.
also got all levels. You can give Jeff money direct for the tier, which is nice but
Yeah.
not expected. If you just go to patreon.com, there are lower tiers that just help support so you can do it. And then the easiest thing, this is what we're really pushing for. You have a little more than 400 followers, Jeff, growing at a really rapid pace on YouTube because you were nothing for a long time, and then in the last year you've really picked
I
it up.
neglected it. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I
so
certainly
if
neglected
Jeff
my.
can get to 500 followers on YouTube and around 230 hours of watch time. So basically, if you really like Jeff and you haven't subscribed, subscribe and go check through the backlogs. There's some great stuff. That is the simplest thing you can do to help Jeff out. And we can get to the point where hopefully, like, where we're doing this for about 10 people with like no income. Long term, it could be the case where we could do this, and then we could actually even do this stuff, like you were saying,
Yeah.
John Jabs from the Past is Alive. Actually, say, hey, if someone wants to bid on this card or something, we can go from there.
So yeah, and there's certain things like I recently found my set from my drunk comedy set. The only time I've ever been drunk. I just found the video of that recently, and I have it, and I'm thinking of when I'm gonna put it up someday. I'm trying to think of what is going to inspire me to put it up, like what number of followers it's going to take for me to put it up. It's certainly going to be in the four figures at the very least because I don't want to just sit there and toss that out. It's a pretty embarrassing video of my probably weakest moment, but I will do that. I have it. I might, if might do the same with the Patreon. If I hit a certain number of paid Patreon subscribers, I'll drop it on there exclusively that they can watch it on Patreon. And then if I hit a certain number on YouTube, I'll put it out there for free
Hey,
for
Jeff, can I
everyone.
actually ask you a question? I have been neglectful as an admin. So you actually have hit enough
Yeah.
Patreon subscribers such that the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special, when we first released it, we were like, hey, if Jeff can pick up a couple followers in the next month, sadly, it's December is the worst time to try and do a pledge drive. To try and be like,
Yeah.
please, Christmas time where you're already probably going to be hard up for cash because it's the holidays, you're probably traveling, you're buying gifts for other people. So we didn't really pick up any followers, but since then you've done good and you've picked up a good number of followers. You're north of 250 on Patreon, you're north of 400 followers on YouTube. We can release the
Mhm.
He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special. I can just do that on YouTube for the free tier of Jeff has cool friends. We can throw that out someday if you're
Yeah.
just looking for a random day to throw out some content there.
Yeah, we could probably do that. Yeah. Definitely in there. But so yeah, we just kind of wanted to take this moment to like show off what the month has been up to. We did all these breaks. The more people we get, the more we can start monetizing this and everything like that, the more breaks we can do. And then the more breaks we can do, it all snowballs together. I love doing this. I cannot wait to be able to do this in a situation where, like last week when I did all these breaks to celebrate John Jabs, I spent not an inconsiderable amount of money. I think I dropped like $500
It is
on the month
so easy to just
on
you
that
go into a
week.
card shop. It is we're warning you ahead of time. This is a fun hobby, risky hobby.
Yeah, it is. You're paying for what you're paying for. But I got lots of fun, silly stuff to give away. I've got some. I've got like 8 different forms of um, wrestling cards and stuff. Like I had like the Panini Prisms and the. So I pulled like Panini Prism Wrestling, but I also pulled like um like vintage WCW wrestling, and I also
I was
pulled
so hoping for a
Panini
Cactus Jack out of
Chronicles.
those from those old WCWs. If you'd pulled a Cactus Jack, I'd have been all over that.
Yeah, that would have been
Unfortunately,
nice. Yeah,
but pulled some other good
I
names, which
got
means you don't have to compete with me for those cards if you're asking for old
yeah
WCW cards.
lots of stuff. Star Wars refractors. I have in there. So definitely one of those things where I'm also going to tell people like, hey, look at the stuff that we broke that last week. There's lots of really cool, weird stuff. Like
And you typically at the end of the
there's
month you
there's
do a link to
cards
all of
from the
them, right?
Yeah, there's cards from the Frighteners, for God's sake. The Michael J. Fox movie by Peter Jackson. Like, really? Yeah, that's a real thing. We did Battlefield Earth cards. So there's lots of really cool stuff that I don't want. I want to give it away. And so the more people are want them, the more you make me happy by not having to hold on to them. But Dre, I think we're gonna
That's
start
time.
working on making a move out of here.
All right.
Monday night.
Patreon.com/Jeff May. And then what were you going to say Monday night?
Yep. I was going to say Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Dre is going to do his weekly I Must Drake You. And then, of course, Wednesday, I'm, I'm thinking about moving I Must Break You to 1 o'clock. It seems to be a slightly better time for people. I obviously can't, I was going to move it to 4 o'clock, but that's when You Don't Even Like Sports live happens. And then after that, I can't really do much because, it's going to be loud in my house. My roommate's home. It's also dark inside. So, it's kind of pointless for me to do a break after dark at this point in time. But 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesdays, I think, is when I'm going to start sticking with it. Back when I was boxing on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I couldn't because I was in the shower at 1 o'clock. But now I if I'm running on a Wednesday morning, that gives me plenty of time. So that's what I'm thinking we might move it to. You guys have 10 hours to sign up for the rookie card tier or the two-face tier, the three-face tier, the rookie producer tier, um,
All the tiers.
the nerd rookie
We
tier. There's
trust you.
lots of them. Yeah,
Y'all can read if you go to patreon.com
yeah,
/ Jeff May. Look at the membership. You can read
yeah.
the ones where Jeff sends you something. You can look for them. And then usually, Jeff, right at the end of the month, you typically do a collation one where you just have a link to all of the different breaks and basically say,
I
again,
will.
if you go back and look through them all, if you do that, it helps Jeff out because it gives his YouTube channel watch time, and then you can see what you want. And yeah, as Jeff noted, message him if, and that's the thing. We're at a size where there doesn't tend to be much conflict. If you want a card, unless it's a really obvious one, unless it's like Darth Vader or the Mandalorian or Grogu, it's probably yours.
I mean, it's probably yours even if it isn't. Like you just gotta ask. That's the thing too, is like you'd be surprised at how many people don't ask for stuff. I actually it really helps me a lot and I know I shouted out his name a couple times, but he's been a great supporter is Walker Morgan. He's the one that sent the cards from Mark Pinjator. Um, he'll send me messages being like, "These are the cards I want," and he'll give me like 8 cards per break, and then even to the point where I have to be like, "All right, now narrow it down to which ones you're going to be able to fit in the package," kind of a scenario. So like, but that really helps me. I'm like, rank them. And that helps me out because then when it comes time for me putting the packages together, I can have Walker's packages put together. It takes me, 5 minutes, whereas some packages take me, 30 minutes to put together just because I'm trying desperately to make sure I find the right thing for the right person. But yeah, Dre, you're doing great. Thank you so much. We should get out of here. We've been here for 45 minutes. That's enough time, right?
Oh, I loved it, and this was exactly what I wanted. Hopefully, more regular at the end of the month, Jeff. Thanks for all the breaking you did
Yeah.
this month. Patreon.com / Jeff May at Hey There Jeffro on all of the socials. Muck that up on all the socials at Hey There Jeffro, JEFFRO.
Yeah. And then, obviously I say the same thing always, but the subscriptions, the notifications, the comments, the shares, the likes, those are all free and they all do help a lot. I know, Logan came on You Even Like Sports Live yesterday and he was just like, you guys have no idea how hard these people are working and you can do so much more for them for free. And he is right. So I've been taking that to heart more. If I like really enjoy, I fell into a YouTube channel called Professor of Rock. It's a guy that's like he does all these like rock and roll sort of mini documentaries. Um, I was watching a couple episodes and I was like, I'm going to subscribe to this guy, even though half of the stuff is about music I don't really care about. I'm going to subscribe because I want him to get those numbers to bump him up a little bit more. Like I've been doing that more myself. So if you subscribe, it's just better.
And Jeff, I'm gonna take the mic to end us off. I got two things that are gonna make you laugh. My son is the ideal viewer because if we watch anything on Instagram or YouTube, he will stop me and make sure I like it first before we can keep watching it, which is amazing. Now the fun story for you,
Yeah.
Jeff, is there is a company that makes statues that made a pretty cool looking Skeletor statue. Not like a legit fight, more like a funny fight where I was just like, no. He was like, Dad, we have to like that. And I was like, son, I can't explain this to you, but I am not going to like that because because of my friend Jeff. He's like, no, go ahead and like it. So that's my
No, you
fun
can
story.
like it. You can
That's,
like those. You can like those
I didn't
statues
like it,
because
Jeff, but
if well no I think if you're talking about Tweeterhead,
no,
I
not
am
them.
still a okay.
It
Because
was a
I was going to
company that
say
makes statues, Jeff. That yep.
yes, that is fair.
It
That
was a
is
cool
very fair.
statue
I
though, but
understand.
find it somewhere else. And then the last thing I want to throw out is I'm going to throw out to Oliver. Oliver says listened to the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special multiple times. That's what I'm going to end us on, Jeff. That will be live to everybody that is not a Patreon subscriber at some point in the near future. Thanks so much, Jeff. Can't wait to break cards with you next week. Hope we get to keep doing this.
Absolute delight. Thank you all so much for joining us. It means the world to us that you took some time to spend your afternoon or early evening with us. Thank you all so much. It really does mean a lot. And if you haven't checked out the Patreon, just give it a look, even a cursory glance for the cheapest tiers, because we do try to do a lot of really cool stuff on there. And if not, you just want to hang out on YouTube, that means the world to me as well. If you're in a position to help me grow, I appreciate it. But just being here is that, a part of that position. So thank you.
All right. I'm going to hit the end button, Jeff, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.